In this video, I'm going to be talking specifically today about the 10 qualities or aspects or things that top network marketing entrepreneurial women do to be successful. And one of the things that is pretty cool is I just love to study peak performance, how to accelerate your results by not doing much. Like I really believe small hinges move big doors. So I'm going to share 10 smallish, I think they're big, but they're smallish hinges that can swing big doors in your business. And if you're just joining us for the first time here and you're watching this video for the first time or meeting me for the first time, my name is Carla Silver. I help network marketing professionals, direct sales professionals, build and automate their businesses online so you can rank up, make more money, but most importantly, at least to me, is to spend the most time possible with the people that I love most in the world. And I know that's a big priority for you as well. And I've done it without doing friends and family, going to meetings, parties, all the other hoo-ha. Those of you that have been around more than a hot second know that I am I guess I don't want to say a painful introvert, but it's pretty painful sometimes. I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, I want to be invited to the parties, but I don't actually want to go. But I make myself go because I end up having fun in the end. So here we go. I'm going to be talking about the things, and I just made this list right before I got on, guys. So I'm going to tell you right from the get-go, it isn't everything. I could probably make a very, very long 100-thing list of all the various qualities, but these are the things that really come to mind when, number one, I'm interviewing somebody that is looking to join us in our Top Producer Mastermind coaching program, or I'm looking to help them level up. And these are the things that I know for me have made a huge difference. And again, I love studying peak performance. So I've studied with Brendan Burchard. I've studied with Todd Herman. I've been part of their mentorship programs. Brian Tracy, many of you know that I work very closely with Jack Canfield. I mean, these things, this kind of stuff, when I can learn a little something, implement in my business, and then swing a big hinge, I love it. So take some notes or don't, doesn't matter. I think that you're probably going to pick and choose. I think that this is what normally entrepreneurs do. You pick and choose what you want to employ in your life right now. But the number one thing to be successful is not going to be, you'll be like, what? That is, and these are not in an order. This just happens to be the first thing that I'm going to share. So the first thing is be enthusiastic. I cannot tell you how many entrepreneurs I've talked to over the years, or people that are getting started in my business, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to try it. I don't know. And then that energy actually extends into the results in their business. So if just take a little pulse, your own little pulse, and think, am I enthusiastic? Am I being that? And the other version of enthusiastic is enthusiasm. Many of you have heard this before. It's spelled ENTHUSIAM, as I am sold myself. And believe me, when you're having a conversation or a messenger conversation or any kind of conversation, whether it's in person, on the phone, on Zoom, in Messenger, people feel your energy. And if you are not 100% enthusiastic, and I mean, you can even be a crazy weirdo about this. It's not being about selling. This is about being enthusiastic. Like, I am so crazy passionate about the results that our members of our Top Producer Mastermind are experiencing that I can't believe that everybody is joining that program, right? So I am fully sold myself, and you should be too. And what that creates is that beam of light, that irresistible, like, what is that person doing? I have to pay attention to her or him. We have men. We have one man in our Top Producer Mastermind program, and we have quite a few men in this particular group. So You've got to be that light. And here is a fact. Factoid number one. The fact is, in any conversation, he or she with the most certainty and enthusiasm wins, makes the sale. So you've got to be that. And so what we do talk about in our top producer mastermind is like, okay, so how are you feeling today? How are you? What are you doing self care wise? What are you doing to make yourself feel like $1,000,000? Right? If you want to make $1,000,000, you got to feel like $1,000,000. So just take a little pulse, take your pulse on that. Like, are you super enthusiastic about your business? Is that energy coming through? And again, you don't have to be a wacky weirdo like me. You absolutely get paid for being yourself. This is not a social media training, but you've got to be that light, that beacon that someone says, I cannot avoid that light. I've got to go see what's going on over there, and they're going to follow you. Many of you, your upline has told you at some point or another, set your hair on fire, and people will come to watch you burn. I don't like that at all because that implies something negative to me. I just think that we should all, the best thing we can do for our businesses is just plain be that light. And Deborah here is saying like some days more than others, and I get it. I have huge down days. I'm not this like crazy wacky weirdo every second of my life. And what I do on those days is I look inside, I tap into music, I tap into some of the I've actually done some really heavy work on understanding the transformation that I provide. And so I take a look at that work and I'm like, oh, yes, okay. And you should be doing that work too. And that's a whole nother training. So that's number one, be enthusiasm, be that light, be incredibly contagious with what you understand you have in your hands. Second, the second thing I wrote down was successful entrepreneurs are okay with failure. They're okay with sucking. Now, I know some of you might take offense at that word, but they're okay with the suck. And this is a lesson that lots of us have to learn, including myself. I happen to be just a little bit of a perfectionist, kind of. So you have to be. So here's the deal, and you've heard this before, but if you're hearing it again, I just want to point out to you, it's probably because you need to. So you cannot decide that you're going to be, I don't know, I used this in a recent example, I'll use it again, a pianist. You can't decide that you're just going to play an amazing, Stairway to Heaven is going to be coming out of your hands and into the piano tomorrow or next week or the week after that or the month after that or even the year after that. It takes time and willingness to sit down at the piano and make mistakes. You can't, even if you played it the slowest you can play it, maybe if you only took, you're just going to make mistakes. It's just impossible. So every single last one of you that is listening to my voice is looking to be an amazingly successful network marketer, whether or not you are in front of essential oils or you're in front of Send Out Cards or if you're in front of Melaleuca, fill in the blank. You're looking to learn all of the things that you need to learn and be that amazing entrepreneur, and you will make mistakes. So guess what? Successful entrepreneurs are willing to fail. I'm willing to, like right now, I'm doing some things over on TikTok and I suck. I am bad. But you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with that because I'm just going to make mistakes until I figure out what works for me. And here is some truth that successful entrepreneurs know. They know that they've got to be, and I'm going to talk about this later, they know that they need to be educated and mentored, and they know that they need to buy courses or whatever it is because other people have figured out things before them. But that doesn't mean that the exact thing that that person is teaching is going to work for them. I know that. I've invested in some pretty big, I've invested over and over in lots and lots of mentorships and courses and stuff like that. I can only, even if I followed them exactly, it doesn't assure me of success because I'm a unique individual. So you have that makes the reason to understand, to embrace the suck, even more powerful. Because even if you have someone showing the way, you need to apply it to you, your time, your abilities, your personality, your business, your unique self. So you must be super okay with messing up. And yeah, Shelley Halleck just wrote "Fall down 1,000 times, get up 1,001." But it's even more than that. Like, I think we all understand that, but it is easy for us women, especially, to not do something because we think, I like cake, but I really don't like that kind of icing. I'm going to do something else. And it just doesn't work. You've got to just say, I don't really care if this doesn't turn out at all. And that goes against almost everything that we've ever been taught in our lives. So, number two was successful entrepreneurs are willing to fail. And believe me, guys, I failed yesterday. I failed the day before. I failed, and you know what? There's some joy in that because every time I mess up, I learn a tiny little lesson that will help me move forward, especially in tech, right? You can't mess things up, but you've got to learn all the tech that can help you in your business. Beautiful thing about that is that it is super easy right now, like unbelievably easy for people. How many of you here have, I know Robin just finished, I think you just finished your sales funnel, so congratulations to you. It wasn't as hard as you thought it was, I'm guessing. Number three, I'm gonna be here an hour, so I'm gonna go faster. You must embrace risk. Okay, so here's where we get into some of the mindset stuff here, and this can be sometimes tricky and where people tend to start to freak out because if you were like me for 20, 15, 20 years, I don't know how long it was, feels like a long time, but I can't be that old. I was in corporate America and there were risks to take, but I wasn't really taking the risks, right? I wasn't really being that one that was taking a risk. And the definition of an entrepreneur, let me see, I wrote it down somewhere. I got it here, right here. Hold on a second. The definition of an entrepreneur is, what does it say here? Is the definition of an entrepreneur is a person who organizes risk and their expertise, especially in business, usually with considerable initiative. And what is the word that I wrote here? And risk repeats the word risk. I looked in a bunch of different uh, uh, online dictionaries, and the word risk there. So they all included risk. So I had so many times in my life as an entrepreneur where I really was presented with an opportunity, but it was an enormous risk. And I kept saying to myself for a really long time, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. And guess what? It held me back. So it wasn't until, and here I'll tell you a quick story. So, as you know, I spent money in advertising. And I believe that if it's appropriate for you, you should spend money in advertising. And so I I actually was recruited into this industry by answering an ad on Career Builder. Like, okay, maybe, so typically many people will use the same way that they were brought into the industry to bring others into the industry. So I did that. I placed ads for a while on Career Builder and Hot Jobs, and then they got really expensive. They got to be like $800 each, $1,000 each for a listing in one or two cities. And I'm like, but I'm getting really great leads. I was really good people. I was really beginning to move forward in my business, but these are really expensive. Now I made enough money to cover it, but I still wasn't growing. So I'm like, ah. So I called up, there was something called Hot Jobs owned by Yahoo. I don't think it exists anymore. I called up the rep at Hot Jobs and I said, I'd like to buy more. Would you sell them to me? Now, they probably wouldn't sell them to me now because they probably don't want to build with network marketers. But back then she said, yes, we have a package with 22 listings or 42 listings. And they're only, I don't know, I don't remember exact math, but it was like $300 each. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, but you have to sign a contract for a year. And I'm like, Gulp. Like, oh, okay, I'll call you back. Like, I'll call you back. But I kept thinking and I kept thinking about it and thinking about like, okay, this is a huge jump. I think the contract was for 22. I know it was around $22,000. And some of you are like, WTF. Now we do not need to pay all that money for our advertising anymore. But what I did at the time is I said to my team, I said, listen, I can get you some leads. They're fresh leads. These are people that are looking for an opportunity. And would you be interested in splitting this with me? So I got some. I got some of my team to spend half, and I signed that contract for $22,000 with a giant pit in my stomach. But I was willing to take the risk. It was distributed between me and my team, but I still would be responsible for my team, right? So the end of that story was I ended up with amazing leads. I grew my business, and I grew my business pretty fast. But more importantly, my team started growing their business really fast. And so that was not a story of failure, but that was a story of being. I mean, can you imagine? Any of you that are listening to me right now signing a contract for $22,000, not knowing if it was going to work or not, and you're responsible and on hook for that money. Anybody have a gulp moment on that? So you got to be willing to take those risks, but also number two is you have to be willing to fail, right? You have to be willing to fail. Any gulps out there? Any go like, oh hell, did she really do that? Same thing happens when I made for my first investment in mentorship. I knew that I needed to grow faster at that time, and I needed to know. I needed some things. I needed to know how to market online. I wasn't going to do it the old-fashioned way at all. The way I was doing it on the phone. I know, gulp, 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 gulp. I wasn't going to do it anymore. And I went to a 3-day event that Lisa Sasevich was. She's now retired. That Lisa Sasevich was giving, and I knew she was going to get him an offer, but I was like, this, nope, I'm not going to do it. She made her offer, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw something that I had written that week on Facebook that said, have the courage to follow your dreams. It's worth it. And I sat there and realized that if I didn't move forward, I was out of integrity with myself, and I wasn't taking the knowledgeable, right? It was a qualified risk because she was already she had demonstrated results, right? So she had already demonstrated results that she could help people like me. But did I have the money? Did I have the $27,000 or whatever it was to invest in her program? No. Did I have a husband that was going to support me? I didn't know at the time. I'm like, I don't know. I got to go talk to him. But I ended up moving forward. I talked to him. You guys know the answer, the end of that story. I talked to him, and he's like, you got to go for it. I'm like, no, we don't have the money. So we had a whole argument around that. I pitched him and then fought against myself. But the whole point is that you have to be willing. You must be willing to fail, and you must be willing to take risks. My current mentor, Shamika Tankerson, who is amazing, she says success does not take time, it takes courage. It does not take time, it takes courage. So think about all the ways in your life that you can take a step forward in courage and faith, because you, my friend, are an entrepreneur on assignment. Is it going live? Is it reaching out to that person that keeps stalking your posts? What is it? Is it being more bold and more vulnerable in your social media so you attract amazing people? Is it just turning on your enthusiasm light for what you need to do? What do you need to do to step out and step forward in your business right now to take that big risk or little risk that you have on the back burner? Secret number 4, and this is a little woo, guys, but secret number 4 is successful entrepreneurs. What did I write here? Successful entrepreneurs stay out of their fear and stay in their faith and realize that they're going to get paid for who they are being, who they are becoming. I know I talk about this a lot, but people get started with not, I know the know, like, and trust, it's absolutely true, but the person they are getting started with you. So if you aren't feeling like you're playing at the top of your game and that you are being that leader, whether you feel like you are inside or not, you've got to change what you're doing. You have to understand that the person that maybe you have a financial goal of making $100,000 this year, and you've only maybe made $20,000 in a year in a job or in your business or whatever. That is not just a leap of knowledge and skill and work, but it's a leap of you into your future self. The person that you are right now is not the person, this second is not the person that's achieved that. So what are the biggest shortcuts that you can ever take inside of your business is getting uncomfortable and deciding that you are going to make your be that person that you are looking to be right now, right now. And when you are that person, when you are that $100,000 earner, you're that $1 million earner, when you are deciding to be that, now there's other things that I'm going to share with you that'll help support you in being that right now. It can be a little scary and it can be a little confusing. Like, in my case, I looked at all these other amazing network marketing leaders, and they all, to me, looked a certain way, and they were all beautiful and tall and skinny and wore these really high heels and skinny dresses. And I'm like, well, I'm just never going to be that way. That's just not me. That's not my personality. I'm going to be wearing what I'm wearing now, which is a t-shirt, yoga pants, and bare feet. Right? I'm just not going to be that. But it wasn't what they looked like. I want you to understand that it isn't being that beautiful idea of what you think someone should look like, because the cool thing about this industry is you don't have to look like freaking anything. You can look any way you want and be just as successful, because it is about who you are being. And so as you're moving forward, I think of this every morning. Every morning I wake up, I lie in my bed as I come to consciousness. I'm like, who are you being? Are you being your true self? Are you taking risks? Are you being the light? Are you embracing the fact that you're going to suck at something today? Are you okay with failing today? Are you okay? Like, all of those things should be going through your mind. So think about who you want to be and then go be that person. Again, I want to underscore, this is not you being inauthentic to you. It's being that person. And the most important lesson I can give around who you are becoming, I don't remember if I used this as one of the other numbers, but I want to share this. You are faced with a bajillion decisions a day, right? So you're like, am I going to get up right now? Or I'm going to lie in the bed and meditate? Am I going to hit the snooze button? Am I going to brush my teeth right away or wait? Am I going to have coffee or tea? Or like me, I'm on a mocha latte, a matcha latte kick. Are you going to buy some advertising? Are you going to invest in a course? Are you going to reach out and follow up with that person? Are you going to write your emails? Are you going to make an offer post? Are you going to make a POW post? Are you going to do all the different things that you need to be? I mean, seriously. We've got a bajillion decisions that we make every day. So here's the question. Every time you make a decision, you can ask yourself, is the result of this decision going to take me closer to my goal or further away? Or is it illegal, right? Is it unethical? Is the result of this decision going to take me closer to my goal or further away? So let's say you have a fitness goal and you had said to yourself, I'm going to get on the Peloton before I brush my teeth, which is actually a genius move, because I don't know about you, but I have to brush my teeth right after I get out of my bed. But if I put that Peloton thing in there before I brush my teeth, I get that Peloton thing done because I really want to brush my teeth. I know it's kind of a weird thing with me, but that's just it. So, but you can say, hey, I don't feel like being on the Peloton today. Wait, I'm supposed to ask myself this question. Is getting on the Peloton, going for a walk, doing a sit-up, a plank, whatever it is that you do, is that going to take me, if I don't do it, is it going to make me get closer to my goal or further away? At that point, you are compelled to take the step, even if it's a big step or a little step, just like getting on the Peloton, for 5 minutes. Doesn't have to, I don't have any like, I have to be on for an hour, but you notice it's a little psychological trick. If you're on for 5, you're going to be on for 10 and sometimes 20 and sometimes 30 and sometimes an hour. So if it's, I got to do that, it's going to take me closer to my goal. Here's where discipline comes in. You've got to make that forward. You've got to take the action that is a result of that question. Everybody get that right now? Right? Super clear. Secret number 5. Let's see what I have here. Secret number 5. Learn from and surround yourself with people that are already where you want to be. And you must be ruthless about this. Ruthless. Ruthless, ruthless, ruthless. We are bodies of energy, and the people around us are giving us their energy all the time. Not only that, but we are also full of misconceptions and ideas around what is possible for us. We are full of misconception and ideas of what we can achieve. We are full of misconceptions, wrong thinking, bad decisions as a result of our upbringing, all the things, right? And we aren't our parents weren't responsible for that. It just is. It just is. So if we are going to move into that next level us, we must be around next level people. Period. The end. You just have to be. So what did that mean for me? That meant for me to shut the TV. I didn't watch TV for 15 years at all. I still watch next to no TV. I watch some Netflix now, and of course during Corona we all watched TV. They're just because we had to watch. We were like, I told you this last week, we were like popcorn watching what the latest thing was happening. But I would caution you, like turn the fucker off. Excuse my language, right? Just turn it off. Turn off any negative input. What I did is I filled my brain every single minute of the brain. Of my life. I was either moving forward in my business, doing whatever I had to do to live my life part, but I always say crooks and nannies, all the crooks and nannies, I know that's wrong. All the crooks and nannies of my life were filled with either calls or Zooms they didn't have Zoom back in the day, but calls with my company, going to their events, going to, I didn't go to the meeting things, but our company didn't have them, thank the Lord. Getting my ASS to all of the company events so that I could be around. And you guys know, total introvert. So for me to get to an event was fine because I loved to travel. It was not fine financially, but I loved to travel. But getting in those rooms with the leaders, that I had to push myself. I had to earn it. And because that's just uncomfortable for me. I'm not somebody that says, "Hi, my name is Carla Gianlavini. It's nice to meet you. You're the number one earner." That was completely uncomfortable for me, but I did it. I signed up for courses. I listened to meditations. I did whatever I could to keep. I told Don, don't even talk to me about the bills. I need to be in a place, frankly, where I brainwashed myself. And I know brainwash is a crappy word, but I did. And so you've got to surround yourself with other people that are as serious and as on purpose as you are. And I was lucky that I had a husband that supported me in that. And I realize that not everybody's going to support you, but you've got to be very, very ruthless about what you fill your brain with. So I listened to Tony Robbins stuff. I listened to I don't think it was Joe Dispenza at the time, but I would listen to Andy Andrews. I would listen to, maybe it was Joe Dispenza. I listened to these binaural beats by Centerpoint. Can't remember whose product that was back in the day. I would have Don, oh my God, this is going to make me seem really old. I would have Don download company training calls onto discs, and I'd put them in my Walkman. I would go for hikes at lunch and listen to those calls over and over again, because I knew that I was fighting with my confidence issues because people weren't getting started with me. I had expected to be rich by then. I wasn't having the results. So I needed to fill myself in those days with as much good information as I possibly could so that I didn't let doubt overcome me. I didn't let other people's, like my parents, my dad's like, go get a job. And then they had their 70th birthdays. My parents had their 70th birthdays. And Donna and I couldn't go. And we just couldn't afford it. And my parents didn't understand. They're like, I don't understand. Why I don't. And so I had to kind of like, hey guys, I love you, but we're not talking about this right now. I need to stay in a place where I am 100% focused, brainwashed, whatever, so that I can reach my goals. Okay, there's that one. Number 6, coffee. Successful entrepreneurs are ruthless with their most valuable asset. And my most valuable asset is the exact same valuable asset that you have, and that is your time. We've all have 24 hours in a day, right? Oprah has 24 in a day. The guy that's in jail has 24 hours a day. There's not one more second or one more second less than we don't have one more second or one more second more or less than anybody else on the planet. So you've got the same amount of time as Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. You can go on and on and on and on and on. And I'm not saying that you're all going to be rich as those 3, but it's really critical that you start thinking about, that's Bill Harris's center point. That's exactly right, Shelley. It's critical that you start thinking about your time as a entrepreneur, as a business owner. And honestly, you can, if you're not organized with your time, this is something that will blow your mind. It will totally blow your mind. So when I got started, I thought I was working all the time. I'm like, I'm working. But guess what, guys? Yes, you make money by absorbing training and being on things like this indirectly, though. You only make money by your income producing activities, as far as most entrepreneurs, but most specifically network marketers and direct sales, is by generating a lead, putting that lead in front of the information, and following up with that lead. Those are the only 3 things you get paid for. So if you're doing all the other things, which are things that you've got to do in your business, but you're not doing those 3 things every single day, they'll come and take your furniture, right? So as a business owner, there are tons of ways to hack time. Understand, like, if this is not a training on time management, although I have a really good one on time management. Let me know if that's something that you want to have sometime in the chat. I will definitely do this. You're not paid for being busy. You're not paid for taking your kids to ballet class. You're not paid for that. So you have to be ruthless with your time and plan out, do whatever you need to do, time blocking and being realistic. So my best advice, again, this is not a training on time, but is to put all your schedule in and then see what you have left over to run your business so that you can be super realistic about your time. And lastly, I'll just end this particular one on this. As far as time's concerned, get a freaking housekeeper. It doesn't cost very much. If you don't like to mow the lawn, get someone to mow the lawn. Make sure that you are paying yours, like you are not doing anything that's below your pay grade. And so one of the best things that I ever did, and I started doing this when I was really, really young in my 20s, is just plain getting someone to come and so that the house was clean, so that I didn't have to be distracted by that. I could focus on what I needed to do, especially I worked in commission sales my whole life. So, and obviously we do now too. And that was just important. So get the support that you need so that you're not distracted with all the things all the time. Okay, so secret number 8. Successful entrepreneurs know that not everyone is going to support them. We just know it. We know that we're going to meet people that are going to go, I'll just say me, I know that I'm going to meet people that are going to be like, you're in one of those things, or, oh, I've heard of those pyramid schemes, or maybe it's somebody you live with, right? That is not supporting you. So what you got to do with the person that you live with is just to say, hey, I just need you to support me as a person. You may not support this, but that's too bad. I'm doing it. So I need you to support me and my goals, maybe not that thing. For other people, you just have to realize that I had to make my exposure to them as little as possible if they were going to insist on picking me apart. So that's just something that can be disappointing and can derail an entrepreneur if somebody very close to them is pointing out consistently things that are wrong with the opportunity that they're in. Um, yeah, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Probably they're not somebody you want to hang out with all the time or at all, at all. I might have missed number 7, guys. I don't remember what they all are. So let me just live with me if you don't mind. Okay, I could probably think of a million more, so I can probably think of more at the end. But I want to be cognizant of the fact that I have now been on for 40 minutes. So, secret number 9, and this is super uber important. You can be great at what you are. You can love your products, and I hope you do. You can be the best. Let's just say, let's take it out of network marketing. You're going to be the best dog groomer in the world and the best shoe salesman. You got shoes or shoemakers, or maybe you run an entertainment company. Fill in the blank of the number of different kinds of entrepreneurs out there. But this is a problem that is not just in the network marketing industry. It's in every entrepreneur. So you love your thing, whatever it is, but your marketing is more important than your mastery. You can, let's just say you're in essential oils. You can know everything about all the oils. But if you do not know how to market yourself and get yourself out there and have lots of people following up with and responding to your amazing light, then if you don't, you're going to fail. So you've got to know how to get the word out about your business. And I know that this is not just a problem in the network marketing industry. It's a problem for all entrepreneurs. Like, I called on entrepreneurs that own stores at one point in my life. I called on all those amazing entrepreneurs, and the last thing that they wanted to do is market their business. But if Joe, who owns, I don't know, a salon on Main Street, and he just loves doing hair, and that's all he wants to do, his business will fail. Your marketing is way more important than your mastery. Way more important than your mastery. And I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. The reason that you must get good at marketing, whether you're a coach or you're a network marketer or a direct salesperson, is because as in network marketing specifically, your company is not doing the marketing. They didn't want to. That's why they're paying you. They're paying you what they would have paid to advertise their business. They've decided that the network marketing business model was a way where they could have a ton of people talking about their products and selling their products and selling the opportunity, instead of them trying to go and have to figure out the marketing. So they've left it up to you. So it is imperative for you to build that skill, whether you build it with us here inside of one of our programs or you build it with somebody else. You must get really, really good at marketing. That is the key to everything. Yes, you've got to do the income producing activities, but if you're not marketing yourself in a way where you're building your brand, where you're building your influence, where you're understanding the principles of modern marketing, you're not going to make it. And I'll think of a bonus one if I haven't had hit 10. So secret number 10. And here is, I talked about this a little bit before, but this is important. You must make decisions based on where you're going, not your old past, not from your little self, where we're all our little selves now, right? Growing into that big, beautiful entrepreneur that we're becoming, you've got to make decisions from where you want to be. And I'm going to tell a quick story. So I think I told this a couple weeks ago. I went to an event and I saw this chick on the stage and she kept saying, I'm the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation. I'm the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation. And I'm like, that is totally cool. But I found out later that she wasn't. And she became that year a CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation. But what she was doing was speaking into existence who she was becoming. And then she made all of her decisions based on what would the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation decide. Now, I recognize that the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation might say, hey, let's hire somebody to do that and pay them $40,000 a year, right? And that's not something that probably most of us want to do at this point in our careers. But that you've got to be realistic, you've got to be forward thinking, and you have to be willing to take those risks and willing to make those jumps and willing to become that person and willing to make those decisions based on where your big self, not your little self. That big future you, not your little you. So I'm guessing from the comments that I've only had 9. Let's see if I can think of another one. I'm not going to waste your time and try to think of yet another one, but there's many, 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 many things. There's nothing in becoming a successful entrepreneur that any of you cannot do. There's nothing that is uncomfortable except taking risk, which you've already decided to do because you became an entrepreneur. So make it into a game. And maybe this is number 10, and maybe this is where I want to end. When you are looking at your day, and I was on a coaching call with somebody yesterday or the day before, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know, if I'm I don't know if I'll do that." And I'm like, "But who cares? Like, if you post that, what would happen? What is the worst thing that could ever happen?" Well, somebody might think that I'm crazy. I'm like, okay, right? Let's go. Guys, you're on assignment. Your ability and your opportunity to transform somebody else's life and yours at the same time is a gift that, frankly, how dare you hold that back? If the person who shared the opportunity with you didn't share that opportunity with you, no matter how certain or uncertain you're feeling today, your life has changed and can dramatically change. And the lives and the ripple effect just from you changing your mind and being bold and embracing risk and being around people that are already on the same path as you has fundamentally, even if it's just a little bit, those little hinges swing big doors. Maybe change how your kids are going to grow up. Maybe change a little bit about your husband or a friend of yours is thinking about something. These are little things that change, and like it's like an earthquake, which we had here the other day. We had a big jolt, and then there was like the rolls went on and on for a while and spread all over. It's the same thing that happens with just the decision that you made to get started in your business. But you have 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, 30,000, 300,000, a million people that are waiting for you to change their lives. Waiting. And the ripple effect from that is worth every single uncomfortable moment of getting out of your own way, taking those risks, becoming that amazing person that you deserve to become, understanding that some people aren't going to agree with you, understanding that you have to make powerful decisions, mastering your time. All of it is worth it 1,000% when you get to change the lives of so many people around the world. That's the part that I did not understand. I did not understand that at all. And if I didn't make that big move into my big self, and then that next big self, I'm stealing and robbing the people that are waiting for me. So, guys, you've got prospects out there that are just waiting. They're waiting for you to show up in their lives, and they're waiting for the big beam of light of your enthusiasm to call them in. So that's all I got for you today, guys. If I made 9 instead of 10, sorry about that. I can probably add a few more on a different day. But it's been my honor to be here with you today. I love you. I love you. I love you. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I will come back a little bit later this afternoon and definitely answer them. I'm going to go. Dawn's making me lunch right now. So I'm going to go have lunch. And we will see you guys next week at Rank Up Recruiting Crash Course. Again, the URL, I believe, is events.carlasilver.com/rank up. Big love from me to you. Thank you for the hearts, my friends. Mwah. Have a great day, everyone.